goofy.
We're
But
talking. It's a different story.
and I have a lot to say, but I don't like to say it in
Yeah,
front.
so
No.
we gotta get you used to being in front of the camera because I know you got a lot to say. So we gotta get you in a space where you can, you know, gotta add on. I was but you know what? When I started, I was the same way. I mean, yeah, I was the same way, and I was starting a podcast, so but
I'm
I
not
got
turning
used to
you
it
off.
after like the
Thanks.
third show. I kind of got used to it, but it's something you got to adjust to.
Mm.
So yeah, on that note, we are live. I just want to hit the live button, so we're gonna get this thing moving. And make sure all this stuff is queued.
Thank you, son.
Everything is queued. Boom. Okay. Let me see. Yeah, everything's fine. So before we get started, how's everybody doing? Let me do that. Like, what's up? What's going on? Tasha's down in the down south. Dave's way
Florida.
up north, and I'm kind of like not in the middle, but I'm still down south. But she's
Yeah.
further down than me. But how's everything going? Our weather changed a little bit. It kind of cooled off a little bit
Mm-hmm.
We about to
today.
have a hurricane.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the trajectory, and they have different models, but I was looking at the different models that they have. So it may, once it gets into the Gulf, curve back around and come up the bottom of Georgia. That's a
Yeah.
possibility.
Mm.
And then it may just curve and come right across you guys. A
Yeah.
direct situation.
That's what they're saying. It might just come straight through
Yeah,
Florida.
as a
Mm-hmm.
as a category. So yeah, that's
Three. It's at three right now.
so.
Oh, shit. It's inching up. It's inching up.
Yeah. And everybody's out here acting crazy.
Like
They
they
like,
haven't been to a hurricane before, huh?
yeah, it's like they buying out all the waters. All
Mm-mm-mm.
the shelves are clear. All the bread. All the I'm like, well, damn, other people gotta eat too. Like
Yeah.
getting 12 of everything. And I'm like,
Yeah,
why? But whatever.
Yeah.
I stay stocked up anyway.
yeah.
I buy in bulk anyway, so I don't have to.
We'll see how it all pans out. Hopefully, it's not too bad. We don't need no extra situations going on. But
Right.
let's get it cracking. I am
Yeah.
your brother
Yep.
Mordeeb. This is another show of Brainwashed on Heavy, which I haven't broadcast from this channel in a minute. Brainwashed on Heavy is a channel that really deals with conversations and topics that are considered taboo, considered what some people call deep or out there. So when we have those topics, this is the platform that I normally broadcast from. But typically we're on POD, put out direct, and that's for your everyday general conversation and shows that people deal with stuff on a regular basis. But today we are on Brainwashed on Heavy, but we are broadcasting to POD, and we're broadcasting to Facebook as well as Brainwashed on Heavy on YouTube, and POD put out direct on YouTube. So yeah, we're gonna get it cracking. I would like to welcome
Worldwide.
my my co-host today. I got Sister Tasha, brother Dave.
Yes, sir.
I got a couple of other people that will be popping in. They're just still a little late. And this is a part two. This is a part two to a show that we did previously, um, about the urban spiritual journey, and it's basically a show that consisted of people who grow up in the city. Um, we have a particular path that we go down that's considered spiritual, and nobody really talks about that, what goes into that process that changes our lives, changes our views, changes the way we look at life, changes the way we look at God, changes the way we look at death, changes the way we interface with adversities in life. It's the entire process, and nobody really asks us what goes into considering where we are at our age. A lot has gone in to make us how we are today,
Mm-hmm.
spiritually. Has nothing to do with a particular religion, because all religions are spiritual in essence. But we just want to talk about what goes into the urban spiritual journey for the urban person who grows up in the city. What is that like? Nobody really questions or asks us, some of the things that we deal with, some of the things that are taboo that nobody really wants to talk about, such as ghost. Like Black people don't see ghost. I hate using the term ghost, but there's supernatural things that we experience that nobody really asks us. What are our experiences like when it comes to stuff like that? We kind of keep that bottled up. But the Europeans, they put it on Front Street, how they deal with ghosts. They go searching for ghosts and blah, blah, blah. We use the term ghost. I don't like using it. Let's just say disembodied soul, a person without a body. So yeah. And on that note, we're going to go ahead and roll credits and get into the show and, see y'all on the other side. And we are back. I have not heard that intro in a while, so it's kind of refreshing to see my intro for this show. I haven't seen it in a while because we haven't broadcast from this channel. But I will like to say, if you are watching via our Facebook group, please feel free to comment, ask questions of any type. If you're watching via YouTube, please hit the like button, because that does affect the algorithm. So it kind of, direct people towards our content. And hit the bell so you can keep up with us. And when we have stuff that we post, it'll keep you alerted. And share. If you find the content interesting, please share with other people. And on that note, let's go ahead and get into it. And the first thing that I want to talk about will be Ghost. Yes, we will discuss Ghost. And let's just say disembodied souls. And the reason why I wanted to start with that topic is because I was having a conversation with someone, and we were just talking about some of the experiences that we have had throughout our lives and things that we've seen, even stories that we've heard from some of our elders, our grandmothers and moms, and the things that they talk about. And we kind of got into the subject of, you ever talk to someone about something and you feel yourself whispering like you shouldn't be talking about it, but there's nobody there but y'all two?
Mm.
You've
No.
you've never done that?
Nope.
Talking about something that's very taboo, and you can actually feel the octave of your voice go down, like you shouldn't be talking about it, but it's just nobody else is in the room.
Probably, but I haven't paid attention.
Yeah. I've noticed that, and the reason why I said that is because when it came down to really talking about things like ghosts and things we've heard or either experienced, nobody really openly talks about that in our community. But yet it is a
Mhm.
phenomenon. Even going back to you know, slavery, um, we had a lot of supernatural things going on that were passed down, that people experienced, and things that were passed down. And it wasn't really a super taboo thing, but it was only taboo because we had to do a lot of things in secret because of our situation. But now that we have gotten to this stage of the information age, and everything's on the table right now in our community, everything's on the table, regardless of what it is, it's out there. Um, I wanted to discuss that, man. I want to discuss, you know, some of the experiences that you may or may not have, and even stories that your elders have passed down about things going on. Because I know growing up, and this is gonna say, and this is why it fits so well into the urban spiritual journey, is because I've experienced a lot of things when I was younger, growing up in Neptune Village, in Jersey. Um, and you would think just growing up in the hood, in the projects, nobody ever talked about this type of stuff. It never came up, but yet I can almost guarantee you a lot of us were experiencing things. We just didn't talk about it.
Mm.
So on that note, yeah, anybody experience anything or was passed down any stories, as a youth or even today, that will be along the lines of just dealing with disembodied entities. What about you, Tasha?
I wasn't told any stories. My family never talked about stuff like that. It was like you just don't talk about anything.
Right.
You talk about spirits, right? Because you talk Holy Spirit and the Holy Spirit
Yeah.
this and that. So that was the only kind of spirit we could talk about. But like they never told me any stories. But I've had I've seen like shadow figures.
Right.
I've
Me.
had I don't,
Mm.
like weird stuff happen in the house.
Right.
In my old house. This new house, I think they trying to get used to me.
Yeah. So
um,
with those experiences happening, did you have a reference for them, or was just a phenomenon of weird, like that's strange, or did you have a reference to or some framework to place it into? Because I have a framework now that I've evolved. I have a framework from
right,
when I experience certain things, so I know how to place it. But
right.
without framework, it's like that's weird, that's strange. What is that?
I
Did you have a framework?
no, in the beginning, it was like that's weird. Oh,
Right.
and or I would joke and like we would call like me and my kids we call it we say oh that's Consuela. Consuela's moving stuff again or
Right.
But now that when I have now that I've become more aware and I've heard
Right.
have certain other things happen, now I know what it is. Like I've had like actual handprints
Right.
on my arms and
Right.
like actual things done. And
Right.
I'm okay. I'm like, now calm down. I'll talk to him a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. How you doing? Calm down
Right.
a little bit. Now I know how to address it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm still
Yeah.
getting used to it, but now that I'm aware of what it is, as opposed to that's just maybe that's a short in the light bulb, or maybe that just wasn't hung right, so it just fell because
Right.
Hmm.
Right.
that just I don't know why it flew over there. you know.
Right. I think just as people of color, and I did a show some years back called The Unspoken Relationship Between Blacks in the Spirit World. And that was such a profound title till this day, because we have a profound relationship to the spirit realm. Even our ancestry had a very, very rich culture steeped in their relationship with family that was on the other side. And I think in my opinion, I think we kind of disconnected ourselves along the way. And I think now that we have everything on the table, it's kind of comfortable and safe for us to go ahead and have these types of conversations, because the fact that you are explaining something and it appears to be a disconnect, because you're like, I know what it is now. But imagine if we never had that disconnect up until this point, it will be a part of the norm. You know, like in some traditions, it's a part of the norm. Like if you're dealing with Ife or Santeria, you know, that's a part of the culture. So it's normal for them to have that level of relationship. But yeah, what about you, Dave?
Now, let me ask, are we talking about paranormal situations? Or are we talking about family members visiting you? Or
Yeah,
what are
that's
we?
that. Even if your family member visits you,
Yeah,
that's paranormal.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So
my grandfather visited me on a couple occasions last year. And every time he visited me, like say, this instance, about a year ago, I was taking my grandmother to get her COVID shot.
right,
And it was a sunny day. Everything was, everything was bright, and the temperature was perfect. So I decided, okay, you know what? I decided, after I took her home, and, I said, Nan, I got to go back here. I got to go back home. So I decided to make a stop somewhere. And all of a sudden, no, actually, no, she was in the car. She was in the car with me. So, and I'd say, you know what, let's just go for a spin. So all of a sudden, during the course of our drive, the weather started getting dark. The wind started howling. I mean, crazy wind out of nowhere. And it started raining. Then once it stopped, I could smell his cologne. He used to wear this type of cologne before he went out to play, because he was a jazz organist.
right,
So when that stopped, I smelled his cologne. And it happened over the course of 3 times last year. It hasn't happened since. So immediately, since I smelled his cologne, I said, okay, Pop, what's up? What's going on?
right,
But every time he would visit, it would get a little dark, and then the winds would start coming. And then it wouldn't rain. It would just have a little sprinkle.
yeah,
And then just like that, once I smelled this cologne, then the sun came back out and the wind stopped. It was crazy,
right,
but it wasn't crazy, because I understood immediately what had happened.
right,
I was driving his wife around, and he wanted to make
right,
sure I was taking care of her,
right, right,
or he wants to make sure that I'm good,
right,
So, but yeah, my family also didn't talk about, you know, ghost, and, they thought that was Hollywood shit. We don't deal with ghosts.
Well, that's
right,
We black people. We don't do that.
right,
Oh, really?
right. Yeah, we have a very rich untold story and a strong relationship, and I think
Absolutely.
that's one of the things that our ancestry, for those who honor their ancestors, I think that's one of the things that causes us to go through a lot of the BS that we go through, because we don't have a high level of honoring them.
Yes.
I think if we honored them more, acknowledged them more,
right.
I think a lot of our issues
Yep.
We would get help. And in the lecture that I did, I talked about how it was systematically done to cut us off from that connection,
Yep.
because that was a very extremely source of power. And once you cut our connection, being able to connect with our ancestry, there was a level of power that we couldn't tap into. So imagine having a army, a non-physical army that nobody can see, but can literally cause devastation and havoc.
Hmm.
And if you're able to tap into that army, and that army is your kinfolk and your family, imagine what we can get accomplished when we need the help.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And this is why the Haitians were so successful in their revolution, because they were
Right. Because they
able to
call on
tap
their
in.
ancestors.
Yes, they
Yep.
were able to tap in.
Yeah.
Every culture is able to tap in on their ancestors, even from the great beyond. But we're the only ones that don't seem to grasp on to that sense of doing.
Right.
You know, we're the only ones that, you know, for some strange reason, we don't tap into that.
I think and I'm gonna give my my story in a minute. I think one of the reasons why we're not supposed to be tapping in. We're supposed to be tapping in, but I think one of the reasons why it's systematically done to make sure we don't tap in. And this goes back to when you look at slavery, how we used to play the drums, and there's a lot of things that we used to do that they were like, don't allow them to do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Because we were getting things done through X, Y, and Z. So we got to stop X, Y, and Z, because X, Y, and Z is causing things to happen. And they were like, no. We got to shut this down. And along shutting it down, they had to implement something else in its place. Breed out those natives who held strong to those traditions, give it to the children. As the children grow up and they have remnants of it, still give them something in its replacement. When they die off, and you just keep doing that throughout the generation after generation after generation. And for long, you just have people just have a form of amnesia. They just can't remember, or they have a disconnect. You know, the beauty, and this is one of the things that I like to add to these types of discussions, because I've been in a lot of discussions. One of the things that I don't like, and I don't even entertain anymore, is we talk about the plight of people of color, and how bad we are, and how we rob, we kill, we steal. And I get it. You know, we do a lot of fucked up shit. But nobody talks about the ingredients that goes into creating such a mind. We just looking at the end result of how we're acting. Nobody's talking about everything that went in to create the thievery that's in that mind, that melanated mind.
Right.
Or that murderous melanated mind. Nobody talks about wanting into creating that, the environment and circumstance and the education, even down to the genetics. So I don't.
It's always a slippery slope with some people when it comes to that type of topic.
Right.
No.
And I don't like just to have us just being just some sort of anomaly, like a bad anomaly. You know,
there's so much more than that.
Yeah, so much more. And if you look at history, true history, then we know what we've contributed to this entire timeline. But I say that to say, in the end of this whole thing, we win. If that's the thing, we win. So I don't like to entertain too much gloom and doom when it comes to us, but it's a process. It's a process. But my story, my story that I wanted to share about the ghost, and it kind of ties into what Dave was saying about a family member. And it's strange that he spoke of being able to smell the cologne that his grandfather was wearing. That's important, because when your ancestry show up, they're normally going to show up with something that's extremely relative to them that you can recognize.
That's right.
Yeah, I had to.
That's right.
Yeah, and I can co-sign what he said, because to be, and I'm just gonna, kind of unpack what you said a little bit, Dave. To be in the car,
Yeah.
have all of this go on, and to smell a particular cologne is real.
Yes, it is.
It's very real. And until you experience it, it's kind of like hearsay, yeah, whatever. But when you experience it, it's a real thing. It's not something that you're kind of like, maybe I'm just tripping. No.
Nope.
No, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. The story that I wanted to add about the whole ghost thing. For some people are extremely sensitive when it comes to being able to have their spiritual antennas active. I would be considered one of those individuals. So, and it's not something that you can turn off and on like a light switch. I like to say what's up to Pablo Chalk in the chat. Cool brother. He always tune into the shows. But yeah, it's not something you can turn off and on like a light switch. It's just one of them things that when it's on, it's on. And to kind of dampen down your sensitivity, this is why when people fast, when you refrain from food and you fast and you kind of stay away from people, you allow your biological system to not focus too much energy on processing food. And if you're by yourself, you don't spend a lot of time processing other people's energy. So now the body and the mind has a lot of, I'm not going to say extra energy, but now it can focus on things of a higher nature. This is why when people are fasting, they're looking for clarity. They're looking for answers. They're looking for a particular experience. And fasting brings upon this because it shuts down everything else your body is doing. And now the body can focus on some higher things. And the reason why I brought up the fasting is because for me, being a highly sensitive person when it comes to those types of energies, and you can't turn it off. The only way you can do it is to distract your senses to be focused on something else. Take, for instance, sleeping in a extremely dark room for a highly spiritual person could be uncomfortable, not because they're scared. It's because when all your external senses are shut down and you're conscious, now your higher senses kind of heighten. So now you could pick up every little thing that's going on around you. And the only way you dampen that down is you got to have something else that your senses can latch onto, like leaving your television on or something with some sound that your body can latch onto and not be focused on the entity that may be standing in your room. Because if you are open, they're going to try to get your attention. That's just how it works. But one particular ancestor that would never, ever, ever visit me, and I've had quite a few. As I evolved in my spiritual journey, I had family members that would transition, and upon them transitioning, if I had time with the body, I would go and I would have my prayer and whatever else I needed to do there with them, and to let them know. Because one thing about ancestors, and we'll become an ancestor one day, when people cross over, and this is according to experience. And this is according to our ancient writings. But when our ancestry crosses over to the other side, and this goes back to the slavery thing, they're going to search out somebody in that family line, like a telephone, to make contact with who's ever open to receive that message spiritually. That's who they're going to go to. So with me, I made it my business to be available through my own spiritual growth. So when my ancestry crosses over, they know exactly that door is open. And when and most of them transition over, they'll come and they'll let me know I'm good. And that's something that I need to hear, to let everybody else know that when they come to you, they're going to be like, okay, I'm good. I'm here. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. They'll lay it all down, or they'll make it quite simple, and then they'll just move on. But I had a particular uncle that transitioned over, and I had to do what I needed to do to segue to make sure he was able to come through openly, which I was anticipating him coming through, but I did some things on my altar, not even thinking about it, but it was in reference to him one night, and when he came through, and that's when it kind of clicked. Like, when your ancestors cross over, when you put certain things on the altars, you burn candles, you give them their food, you give them their tobacco, their pipes, their liquor, all the stuff that they liked when they were here. That is the segue, kind of like a magnet to bring them in. So I had some things going on with my altar, and my uncle, actually, he showed up that night. And when he did, I was kind of frustrated a little bit because I was trying to make contact for a minute and it was taking him a while. But as soon as I did that thing, boom, he popped in and he was letting me know everything is cool. He had on clothing that he typically would wear. He looked very youthful. He did come with a message. He was showing me something with the sky and some other stuff that was going on. But the funny thing about what he was showing me in the sky, it actually happened the next day. But that's a whole nother discussion, Wow. But yeah, what he showed me actually occurred in life the next day. So sometimes they show up and they'll give you messages, and we have to be open to that. And keep in mind, everybody is not built for this.
Right.
This is why they don't come to everybody.
Right.
It's not that they don't love you, but the thing is, they're going to. And one of the worst things our family hates is if I'm not in my body, and I come to you, and you're fucking terrified. I'm not gonna fuck with you. Yeah, I'm not gonna. That's the last thing that I want to do. So I think as we progress along this path and become more acquainted with this science, be more in acceptance that it's normal. Then we'll get more. We'll get more from our family on the other side. But we don't get it because we're not open. People are terrified because of Hollywood and all this other stuff that we've been indoctrinated with. So they don't fool with you, not because they don't love you, but just imagine, one of your loved ones materializing right in front of your eyes. You would freak out and lose it.
I think that's like, for me, that is like probably what's hindering me, what's blocking me, because I'll get the smells and I'm like, okay, I know that's my Aunt Tish. That's her and her cigarettes. I don't smoke.
Right.
So why would I be smelling cigarettes in my bedroom?
Right.
Why would I be smelling cigarettes in my car? Just odd places that I don't even smoke, that nobody's there, just me. Or my grandmother, whoever, But I think, like, for me, I do, and I've been told this several times. I do kind of not block it, but it's like I'm not as open as I could be, and I don't know what my hesitation is. I don't know if maybe I am a little scared of having the whole
it's fair.
being
It's
open
fair.
to the whole thing, because I've been told by so many times, by so many different people, spiritual people, like you
got the gift,
connect, right?
Right.
You got this gift that you could connect. You just have to be open, and I hear stuff, but I just be like, I don't know if I'm, I don't know. It's me. I'm definitely. It's like you can't block it, right? But you can hinder yourself from getting the full effect of.
Right.
And so.
Right. That's true. You can't. When you're spiritually sensitive like that, you can't turn it off, but you can hinder it from having the full experience.
Right.
And in the backdrop, it is fear. It is fear. It's kind of like are y'all familiar with astral projection?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the precursors to astral projection is sleep paralysis, and I think we talked about this on the last show we did. And the sensation that you get when you have sleep paralysis, a lot of people, well, actually everybody that I've ever talked to about it, they always say, it feels like I'm dying.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. You don't know what it feels like to die
Right.
because you haven't
Yeah.
died.
Right.
But
Yeah.
that's the framework that we take into those types of experiences. And the thing about sleep paralysis is it's a precursor to astral projection, meaning that once you settle down, because your body has to get in a sleep paralysis is a mechanism that the body uses to make sure that it is extremely calm and still while you travel on in your astral body, so your physical body does not act out what your astral body is actually experiencing. So it has to put it in its this paralyzed state. The thing is, you're conscious, and when you're conscious and going through that paralyzed state, people freak out because they can see their room, but they can't move, you know. But the thing is, once you get past that, and it's fear, and the fear that you have will ultimately break you out of it. People just, they fight it and they come up out of it. But if you let go, and this is the part where people feel like, well, I feel like I'm going to die. If you let go, now you could go to the next phase of astral projection. My brother, Pablo Chalk in the chat said, he said it's scary. But yeah, my brother, he used to have a lot of bouts with sleep paralysis. And he called me one day and I was like, look, and this is easier said than done. I can tell you what to do, but for you to actually do it, that's another discussion. But I told him, I was like, look, when that happens, chill, relax, let go. And he said, okay. Next time he had sleep paralysis, he said, I did what you told me to do. He said, when I opened my eyes, I was on the ceiling. And I saw my body in the bed. So he actually got out of the body. That's astral projection. And it's a gift given to us by the creator. It's the part of us. And we're taught to not embrace it, don't cultivate it, because you got to understand something. Everything in our life, all the art, all the music, all the clothing, everything around you came from the unseen world. Every idea, Tesla, it came from somebody's mind, the unseen. Right. So the thing is, they tell you not to embrace your ability to astral project because you know how much information and you know who you can actually interface with on the other side. So now Dave can cultivate astral projection and go and visit his grandfather in real time. In real time.
Would love to do that.
I did that with my dad. And it took
years. How was that? How was that?
With my dad, I had been trying to visit my dad or him visit me for years. And this happened in the past, maybe 5 years. He actually, I went to see him through astral projection. Now, and I think I told this story on the last show, but I'll make it quick. But going back to what Tasha said, sometimes we have blockages that causes our relationships with our ancestors to be kind of foggy. And that comes from either they left you when you were a young kid. That can come from, childhood trauma. That can come from a lot of things. So your ancestor, when they cross over, the last thing that they want to do is cause more harm. So my dad transitioned when I was like 13. I had a living elder tell me, and she had the gift. She's like, look, your dad won't visit you because he feels like he left you when you were young. That was hurtful. And he feels like visiting you now, he's going to have to leave again. You're going to be in another state of pain. So he just stays away. When I tell you, I've seen a lot of people, but my dad, would not show up. She said, but tell you this, get some of the things that he likes, favorite music, this, that, or the third, and just vibrate on that. I think one of the songs that he used to like, I think it was about Earth, Wind, and Fire, The Reasons. That was his jam. She said, play that song, get into some of the things that he liked, vibrate on that vibration, because our ancestors love to attach themselves to things that they love and that you're into. That's the segue. It's kind of like when some of your actors play like biopics of actors, and they say they had to channel this particular person, and the channel was so good you couldn't tell the difference. You can't tell me Denzel Washington ain't Malcolm X. You just can't.
Or Jamie Foxx ain't Ray Charles.
Exactly.
Right.
You just can't, because the channel, the channel is so real that they actually become that person because the ancestor has interfaced with them. That's a skill. Everybody don't have that, but that's spiritual in nature. Believe it or not, that's spiritual. But yeah, my dad, I had an astral. I actually traveled, but here's the thing. This was the first time I actually saw other people that I knew that were actually traveling. And it was somebody that me and you know, Dave, that I actually saw in the astral plane. And they were having problems because they were trying to get through a wall and they couldn't get through the wall. And I had to teach them how to get through the wall.
This person is deceased?
No, they're not.
No, he's with us. Okay.
It's a she.
Oh, okay.
So keep in mind, we all astral travel. We're just not aware about our travels. The goal is to travel consciously.
Right. So
I saw that. Well, I encountered that particular person that we know when I came back. But when I left, I went through, like I said, that's like a whole little movie in itself, that particular journey. But when I got to my dad, first thing he said was, "What took you so long?" He said, "I see people come in and out of this astral plane all the time. What took you so long?" And I'm thinking to myself, why you ain't come visit? So we having a moment of, I got to come see you. You ain't come see me, family squabble. But he was, we got past that. He was happy to see me. He was in his youth. He was with some friends. They were having a party. And after we, had our conversation and our dealings, and then I moved on to another part of the astral plane, and I went to see an aunt of mine that had just transitioned. So after that whole journey, when I got back, that's when I encountered somebody that we know, and they were just entering into the astral plane, and they were having problems on getting past this particular threshold, and I had to show them how to get past this particular threshold. But yeah. Pablo Chalk said everything begins in the mind. You're right.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's my one of many stories that I can share when it comes to the astral travel thing. And I'm gonna tell you now, there's times I can get into the astral plane without the sleep paralysis, but for the most part, sleep paralysis is definitely a precursor, and I don't like it. I'm just gonna keep it a buck.
So how did you learn how to, I'm not going to say, I don't know if you would call it master, but how did you learn how to navigate and get to that point where you know how to, okay, I'm going to go, here, and
I haven't.
How did you get past the fear of it? Because that fear is everything for me right now. Like, that is my main blockage. That is.
Yeah, I haven't gotten past any of it.
Wow.
It's still uncomfortable. The process is still uncomfortable to me. Now, there's times, and this is why meditation is important, because there's times where people can go into a deep transcendental form of meditation and they can astral project and they can go. And I think on our last show, Chico was talking about this. Remember on the last show when Chico was talking about how they, him and did he say Sis? How they used to astral travel all the time. Yeah, I gotta get Chico back on here so he can definitely add on to this. But you can get to a space where you don't have to go through all of those processes. You can just kind of zip out. And some of the experiences that I've had that were profound, I just zipped out. The times where I had sleep paralysis and I was trying to get out, it was a little bit more of a struggle and kind of hazy. I read books. I read books on it. There's certain parts of the astral plane that you have to stay away from. Not that they're bad, but like there's these, imagine being in space and you see a black hole but you're in space. Space already looks black, but then you see a black hole that's black. There's nothing in it. There's no stars. There's no nothing. It just looks like a void. They have those in the astral plane. They're called voids. And you want to fly because in the astral plane you can fly. You want to stay away from the voids that kind of pull you in. And if you got pulled into a void, it's nothing bad. You're just floating in nothingness. That's it. But you want to avoid the voids. And I read about those in some of the books that I have. Like there's a book called Astrodynamics that I put a lot of other people onto. And it just teaches you the ins and outs of the astral plane, the terrain, the different beings, the different levels, because there's levels inside the astral plane, just like there's levels here. You got the plant kingdom, you got the animal kingdom, you got the mineral kingdom, you got the microorganism kingdom, you got the human kingdom. So you got different levels to existence here. And the astral plane is the same way. But let me see what Pablo Chuck has to say. He said, the goal is to try to project on demand through meditative states. Yes, that is the goal. The goal is to get it to the point where you can go into that zone or that mind state or meditative state where you could just zip out and you don't have to go through the whole sleep paralysis things. Said I have a book on astral projection, man. I have to get back to this. So yeah, astral projection is a gift, and they don't talk about it, and you hear people they'll make movies about it in a very bad and derogatory way, but it's a gift that the Creator gave us, and if we're able to utilize it properly, just imagine the information that you can get and bring back. Just imagine the people that you can meet and the people that you can learn from and come back.
So how do you know if you're doing it or not?
If you see yourself.
If you see yourself.
If you see yourself, you're out of the body. And the funny thing about astral projection, and I tell people all the time, when you astral project, if I was to astral project right now, I can go to where you guys are and see exactly what you're doing in real time. Come back to my body and then tell you, oh yeah, I saw you on Saturday night at 9:55. You had on such and such and such, and you was on a podcast.
Right.
Astral projection.
And you said everybody has this gift. We all have it.
Everybody has the gift to astral project.
It's just learning how to
access your.
Yeah.
I
get scared. I always get scared. I get that heavy.
Yep.
Like I can't move, and I'll be like, oh, fear is everything to me, and it shouldn't be. And I think, and even with like, I don't know what happened. I think with like the recent traumas, because before I was open, I think with the recent traumas that's
right.
I really shut myself down, and I don't know why. If anything, I should be more open because of the things that happen. Right. But I get that feeling like it's heavy, and I'm like, yeah, no.
You kind of shake it off and fight it.
Yeah.
And then you feel so weird, but you feel like for me, I feel weird.
Do you feel like so you're catching it right at the beginning? Have you ever gotten to the point where, because keep in mind, your astral body vibrates extremely higher than your physical body. So you can actually feel the vibration. For me, it sounds like, just imagine this, somebody taking a beehive and putting a beehive on your head and there's bees, not they're biting you, but the sound of the bees buzzing around your head, it sounds like electricity or bees just buzzing around your head. It's a real high vibration.
Yeah.
Real high vibration. So let's run this. I got an ad to run right quick. And then we're gonna move on to the next question. So y'all pause for the calls.
And that thing you had.
And we are back.
Gotta come on with some ass
Yeah.
Herbs and cuts.
Right. The next question I wanted to ask was why do y'all think it's important for us today to reconnect back with our ancestry today?
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good one. You want to take the ladies first?
No, I'm still thinking.
I want me to go?
I mean, because
I could take it. I think why it's important today because I think based on my studies and some of the people that I've come across, I think we're coming full circle. And with us coming full circle, what was in the beginning shall be in the end. And I think now that we're coming to a point of completion, I think everything that was cut off from our ability to connect to, everything that was hidden, everything, I think we're now in a stage where all of this stuff is coming online for a reason. The fact that we're having this discussion is a testament to our evolution and where we are now. There's a time where you just didn't have these types of conversations. There's a time where, talking about being a vegan or doing yoga or, non-genetically modified foods and things like that, it just wasn't a part of the discussion. I think we are evolving to a space where we're coming full circle, and now we have to reconnect back to what was in the beginning, so we can go on to the next level. And I always give the slinky analogy. If y'all know what slinkies are, you used to play with slinkies back in the 80s. But if you look at a slinky, if you take the slinky and you close it and just stand over the slinky, it looks like a circle. That's a complete circle. If you take the slinky and you pull it from the top, you see all the coils in it. But all the coils, if you start from the bottom, it coils and then it goes up. Coils, then it goes up. Coils, then it goes up until it reaches where your hand is. this is kind of how our evolution is. Once we make a 360-degree rotation around to complete, we bump up to another level. And we go back around again. And once you get around and connect 360 degrees of completion, you bump up to another level. And we just keep doing that. And I think we're now in a stage of completing one of those rotations. So now as we complete what we need to complete now, we're going to get bumped up to another level. And that goes into Tasha, you familiar with the term ascension?
Yes.
What about you, Dave?
Yes. Absolutely.
The term ascension is in direct correlation to the analogy I'm giving with the slinking. Because as we complete a rotation around 360 degrees in our evolution, we bump up. And that bumping up is an ascension process. That's virtually what it is. So I think it's important for those who are going to make that ascension reconnect with, our spiritual counterparts, whether it be learning, whether it be history, whether it be our ancestors, regardless of what it is. I think it's extremely important right now for those who have been chosen for the ascension process to reconnect spiritually, because these are going to be some of the main tools that you're going to need to be able to make that ascension process. Everybody cannot make the ascension process. Not now.
Right.
Many are called, few are chosen. So that's a real statement.
Yes.
That's like giving everybody ability to manifest stuff with their mind instantly.
Right.
And you give that power to any and everybody. So you take the person who's degraded in their evolution, imagine what they will be manifesting versus the person who has some morals, some values, and they've evolved to a state of having some virtue and some balance. They're going to pretty much manifest things that are more conducive to make life much better. But you take the average degraded person who has this ability, it's going to be hell. So this is why everybody can't make the ascension jump together.
Right.
Because we're going to get to a place where things like this are going to become very common, being able to use more of our minds and manifest things more quickly. And everybody can't be able to do that because they're not prepared. They're not, groomed properly. They haven't evolved. So you're asking for problems. So why do you think we need to connect spiritually at this time, Dave?
There's a lot going on, man. There's a lot going on that we still do not understand. There's a lot going on that we can't not yet process. There's a lot of things that we've been through as individuals and as people that we still have yet to come to terms with. So that spiritual connection will help us lay and set a foundation for growth and for the things that you were talking about, ascension and being transcended and being able to astral plane so you could meet and see your ancestors so they could give you guidance on how to navigate through this village.
Right.
It's very important, to focus your mind on these type of things. I think we need it now more than ever. All the things that you were talking about, it's going to inspire me to do. Because I want to know what my ancestors. I need some answers myself, so I can move on to the next level. So I can help my sons. So
this is something you definitely have to. Our children need, better footing going forward. Than we had. We kind of had to get it out of the mud, as they say.
Yeah, we did.
But our children
wasn't the easiest thing.
It wasn't the easiest thing. But being that we got it out of the mud, we can give it to them and they have better footing, going forward. The best thing to describe what you just said, and they painted it very well, is in the movie Black Panther.
Yeah,
when he had to go basically into the astral plane
that's right.
and meet with his dad to get
That's
guidance on
that's
what to
right.
do in the real world.
That's right. And he
That's a
had
real
that conversation with his father because he did that twice.
yeah,
And the second time he did it with the knowledge of what happened with his cousin,
right,
Killmonger.
right,
And why did you do this to Killmonger? And he is the way he is now because of your choice.
right,
Right.
And he knew right then and there, I can't do what you've done. I have
right,
to go a different way.
right,
So, and also to talk to your ancestors and to figure out what went wrong in the interim so
yep,
that you could do it differently.
right.
That's that. Yeah.
That's
That's right.
exactly and keep in mind um that particular interaction that they showed with T'Challa in Black Panther, that was a normal thing amongst our people
Mm-hmm.
and amongst some tribes today. So
Yeah.
communing with your ancestry, there was nothing weird or taboo about that. That was a normal thing. Just
Right.
because somebody transitioned over didn't mean that they didn't exist anymore. We
Mm-hmm.
had a way of saying, okay, I have a spiritual telephone that I can
Mm-hmm.
let you use to call them to have a conversation while they're on the other side. We had a whole
Right.
system for this. We had a whole system for this. And we just lost our way, due to circumstance and situation. But now it's time to reconnect. Now we are having the visions and we're having the dreams and the weird sensations, and now this is becoming everyday talk. And there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing, and keep in mind, all of this is science.
Mhm.
Right.
All of this is high science. When you're talking about different realms of vibrations,
Mhm.
it's all high science. And we already had this thing down packed. And with
Right.
us having it down packed, we had a system in place to help us keep going along our evolution until we reach the critical point of ascension.
Mm.
Now, you have to look at yourself, the fact that you are in a body right now, to witness where we are now in our evolution. Just marinate on that for a minute.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to be in awe that you're
Mm.
in a body right now to witness
What's going on?
where we are in our evolution,
Mm-hmm.
right at the door of ascension.
Right.
Everything that's going on, we're here to witness it. You know how many people have incarnated and left here and incarnated back and left here and still haven't got to this juncture that we are at right now?
Right. That's real. That's real.
But
Yeah.
that in itself is a gift.
It
Yeah,
is.
right.
But you have to stop and think about it. Like, I never thought about that.
Right.
Yeah.
You stop and think about it. It's like, oh shit. Excuse my language.
No, yeah. Express
Nah.
yourself. But yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, because I've had these same epiphanies. Like we're at the juncture and I'm here.
Right.
I'm here. I'm live at the barbecue right now. It's going down.
Right.
And we're
Right.
watching it in real time. My grandmother, one of the most religious people on the face of the earth, lived her life to see us get to this point of ascension,
Mm-hmm.
or Christ consciousness, as they say, upon the planet. She never got to see it.
Right.
We're here. That's why all the things that these people have built up is coming down. Everything is getting turned over. Everything is being revealed. And it has to be before we get to that critical juncture of, how we going to get on up out of here and be on the next plane. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to turn over every rock. It is what it is. And we have to get this fear thing in check.
Yeah.
Not easy, but and it comes in mad different, shapes, form, and sizes. The whole fear thing. Another question that I wanted to ask was, growing up, did your family have herbal remedies or things that they pass down throughout their family that you still hold tight to this day?
Hmm.
It can be something simple.
No, not me. Not me.
You might be surprised, Dave. It might be something
Herbal remedies.
because we kind of overlook a lot of things that were, I'm not gonna say overlook, but there's certain things we don't equate to being folk medicine.
Herbal remedies, though. Uh, no, no. Like I would know. Like the only herbal remedy that I know of is that my aunt Well, she's not really she's a family friend of my grandmother's. West Indian, Jamaican.
Okay.
She would make this ginger root tea that was so powerful. And how do I know? Because when we were in 10th grade, I was sick one time. I just turned 16, and I was so sick, couldn't breathe, coughing, all wheezing, all that stuff. She came over and gave me that ginger tea. I was sitting up. I sweated everything out.
Right.
And it was a powerful thing. And to this day, I don't think she makes it every once in a while. She's much older now. So and she's back home, and she doesn't make it, and she hadn't made it as often as she should have.
Right.
But that's probably one of the few herbal remedies. And a lot of West Indian individuals, they have those remedies because they come from the island. They come from nature. They grow up around plants and fruits and seeds, water. They have all those things. So, but she incorporated that into our family. So that's probably one of the few. As I'm talking, I know my grandmother used to make this certain drink that was passed down from her dad.
Right.
And her dad got it from his mom. It was some sort of drink. It was like a special drink that she only made on special occasions, and it had a lot of herbs and stuff. But she doesn't do that, and unfortunately, she hadn't passed that down. I think us as Black folks, we often make the mistake of not passing things so sacred from one generation to another.
Right.
These are things that could help cure cancer if you let because of all the herbs and spices that are in these things.
You're right.
So there's very few remedies that I remember. Not too many though. But unfortunately they weren't passed down enough. So
Pablo Chalk in the chat, he brought up a good point because I think we all kind of experienced this, but and here's the thing. We probably experienced a lot of herbal things, but they probably were masqueraded as something commercial, but they were herbal in essence. And like he said folks in the South had the same old folks had them rubs and for everything. Like, and take for instance, our parents used to use a lot of vapor rub.
Vicks.
When we were and to be honest with you, even though you had the brand Vicks, but the stuff that was in it, the camphor and the eucalyptus. Yeah. Where do you think those things came from?
Exactly. Right. Exactly.
The active ingredients in these commercialized items were already being used by natives back in the day.
Right.
And some
Stole
people
the recipe, bottled this shit up and sold it in the stores.
Right. And depending on how you what lens you viewed it from, some people will label that magic, some people will label that root work.
Yeah.
And then once, you know, the industrialist folk got hold to it, they want to package it up, put a name on it, and so forth and so on. So you got a lot of, take for instance, what's the products that they sell in the hood, man, that it's hard to get them products. They got
Like,
they got a
I
name.
think I know what you're talking about. Like the old school.
They used to have the ointments in the cans.
Yeah.
I forget the brand. My aunt used to
I know
sell
what you're
that stuff.
talking about, though.
But they had all the folk stuff, basically folk remedies, and but it was commercialized into these products. It'll come to me. But yeah, I wanted to ask that question about folk remedies and herbal stuff passed down. And we have, whether we know it or not, there's a lot of things that we did use that were spiritual in nature.
Yeah.
But I do get the question a lot: how can a herb, you know, manifest things on a spiritual level? And a lot of people, they don't understand that. And I said I was going to talk about this as a question, because people say it's a plant. How does it have the fact to pull in this and bring money and all this other stuff? Let alone, we're not talking about the medicinal properties. We're talking about the spiritual properties.
Right.
How is that possible? And my answer to this particular question, and I said I was going to answer it on the show. Everything in existence has a frequency. Everything in existence has a frequency. A blood cell has a frequency. A plant has a frequency. It has a particular vibration. And if you put on lotion, all the chemicals inside the lotion has a frequency, a vibration, an energy signature, believe it or not, because everything in existence can be broken down to its atomic structure. It's composed of atoms. Atoms are small particles of energy that are vibrating constantly. Atoms are never in a still state. They're always moving. So when you look at a plant, people say, how can a plant bring about X, Y, and Z, and it's just a plant? People don't understand the energy signature that's associated with this particular plant on a molecular level. So if you have a plant that's designed to pull in things, take for instance, you have certain herbs that you can use that you can put them on sores and scabs and boils and things like that. And what it does is it pulls the toxins, it pulls the pus, it pulls the sickness out of your body so you can get well. Well, that pulling action that it has, when you break it down to its molecular structure, is nothing but energy. It's nothing but energy. And that energy is it's a pulling energy. So when people are doing work and they need to bring in more money and they need to pull in money, there's a particular herb or plant that's associated with that particular frequency that can pull those things in once you attach your intent to the money or the prosperity, whatever it is that you need more of. You utilize certain things that can pull those things in based on your attention, because energy flows where your attention goes. And this is how a plant is able to do things that will be conceivably impossible. And our ancestors had all this stuff figured out. That's why they used them. You want to keep things away, they got a plant for that. You want to bring things in, they got a plant for that.
Right.
So I wanted to answer that question for that individual who just couldn't kind of connect the two. But sometimes when we're looking at things, you got to look at things on and I know it's hard because it may not be in a person's educational jurisdiction to be dealing with quantum physics and atoms and all that type of stuff. So they just see surface stuff. They're not going that deep. So it's like they can't make the connection. But yes, this is how plants as well as different stones and crystals does all the same thing, because a crystal is nothing but kind of like a fossilized aspect of that particular energy. It's just harnessed into a rock. That's it. Same
Wow.
shit. Pablo Chalk, what did he say? Oh, we already did that. I thought the brother said something. But yeah, my next question is, can spirituality be weaponized? And if so, how would you use it today?
Wow.
If spirituality
Mhm.
can be weaponized, how would you use it today on a personal level? And keep in mind, a weapon doesn't always have to be something to harm.
The harm, right.
Because my thing, one of my things when it comes to my spiritual fortitude, I focus on good prosperity, protection for my family,
Yes.
good health, and enlightenment. That's all I focus on.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it in a nutshell, though. But that's
Go ahead, Tasha.
no. I'm sorry. No, I was saying that's it in a nutshell, at least for me, because I do that every morning when I give my gratitudes and my thank yous, and I put out that I want my children to be protected, and I want them to be prosperous, and I want good health, and you know what I mean.
Affirmations
for the benefit of, and then I extend it down not just to my family and my children, but then to my children's children and my children's children. I want it to be long, everlasting, as long as my bloodline continues, So yeah.
Same here.
That would be my so you said that in a nutshell. That's it for me.
Right. But I also take it a step further, me personally, and on top of all the things that you, Dre, and you, Tasha, I do all that, but I also pray for the ability to let my God-given gifts shine.
Yes.
Right.
Because I still have a lot. I feel like I still have a lot to give.
Yeah.
And we all have our God-given gifts and our talents. And I pray for the ability to find the courage to use those gifts. Not just to use the gifts, but to give me the strength and the courage to make the step, to put the first step forward in using those gifts. So so my sons, they're already proud of me because I'm the dad and all, but my sons can see greatness.
Right.
What greatness looks like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So and they can tell their children, my grandchildren, what greatness was, because I as a son witnessed my father's greatness, and that could go on. You have all these families, the Rockefellers and the Kennedys and all that. They do that.
Yeah.
Right.
They do that. They pass their greatness down from generation to generation. So that's what that's what I pray for too. To use my God-given abilities, but not just to use them, but to find the courage and the strength to get that going.
It's funny you say that, because and I noticed that you focused on finding the strength and the courage to step into that. It's funny you say that, is because sometimes we have endeavors in life that we want to accomplish. I call this the ego agenda, the ego personality of ourselves. That's the ego agenda. Then you have the agenda of why you came here in the first place. It's bigger than your ego.
Right.
And we can go through life living out our ego, what we like, what we don't like. I want to be here, don't want to be there. I would like to do this because it looks interesting, or I would like to try that because it looks interesting. Oh, I would like to have a bunch of money because of X, Y, and Z would allow me to do whatever. But then your higher self, the real aspect of you that came here in the first place, it has a task to achieve before it can leave this place.
Yeah.
Yep.
And sometimes we're so caught up in our ego's agenda, we're not living our higher purpose. And it's funny you say that because whenever I'm trying to set out to accomplish something, you know, I know what my purpose is in life. I figured that out years ago. I know why I'm here. Sometimes things that I want to accomplish in life are not in line with my higher purpose.
Mhm.
And I recently asked, because here's the thing, I was consistently running into roadblocks with a particular business that I'm trying to do. Just running into roadblocks. Why is it taking so long? Why is it so much resistance? Because I know when things are for me, it's kind of smooth. They just kind of things align and it kind of just falls into place. And I kept running into resistance. Got to my altar. I said, look, if this is for me, then y'all go ahead, clear my roads, make a way so I can go ahead and continue to have this. Give me the strength and the patience to keep going. But if this is not the path, move this shit out of the way.
Yep.
And send me in the direction I need to be going. And you have to ask for that. You have to ask for things, because here's the thing. You may go through life riding along your ego's purpose and not fulfilling your true purpose on why you're here. And then you got to come back. You know, we can get into the science of reincarnation, but you got to come back, pick up where you left off, and so forth and so on. So I'm trying to maximize my time in this vessel to accomplish as much as I can based on what I call my karmic paperwork.
Okay.
So we have karmic paperwork that you got when you came here, and that shit has to go down before anything.
Yep.
And this is why some people spend a good majority of their life trying to do certain shit, and it just never pans out. But there's something else that they're supposed to be doing. Yeah. They just don't have the courage. They don't have the insight. They have fear. They have doubt. And they never move into that direction for whatever reason. So when Dave said what he said, it resonated with me because I get it.
Yeah.
And sometimes they say you have to let go and let God. That's real.
Yes.
Yeah. That's crazy, because it's like, for me, like everything y'all saying is just like, it's okay. So that was just confirmation anyway.
Right.
It's like, for me, like, because I struggle with that. I know, like, I'm here. There's a lesson I have to learn. There's something I have to complete. There's a lesson I have to learn, and there's something I have to complete first before I can go on to the next. I think for me, my problem, my struggle is that I'm too busy trying to figure out what it is. Why did, you know, I'm driving myself freaking crazy. Like, and I don't know if I feel like I'm redoing stuff over because I'm not learning. I'm coming back. I keep coming back because I'm not learning what I'm supposed to learn. I'm not completing what I'm supposed to complete. And I'm like, this lifetime right here, this got to be it, because I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
No, not this. No more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I have some elders who say that they have already made up their minds. They are not coming back.
I don't want to do this.
That's it. They're not coming back. They're gonna have to figure it out. I think just from observing, from the little bit you've given, I think you have arrived. I just think you have
absolutely
a level of fear of fully embracing your arrival. That's just my assessment. I can be completely wrong.
That's what I'm saying. That's confirmation. Like I've had so many conversations. Like, I just went to a spiritual convention last week.
Right.
And like, you just don't know what I am stopping myself, basically.
Right.
I'm stopping myself. And I have a friend, and she's intuitive, and she's just like, you're blocking yourself.
Right.
You
That's
know, and I
exactly what I picked up.
know this.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's
what I
like,
picked up.
yeah, it's like I know this. Like I know this. And I don't but I don't what I don't know is why I'm blocking myself. What am I afraid of? What is triggering me from being scared to just
And
let
you
it
know what?
fall
Those
through and
are
not
really those are really good questions. I mean,
Mhm.
because one of my elder teachers used to say the same thing. It's not so much as like he gave an example because we were inside of we were having a retreat and it was all the brothers and we were talking and one brother had reservations about doing a particular thing and it was a very taboo thing. But my teacher said to him, he said, I'm not here to tell you not to do that. I'm not here to tell you to do that. I am here to tell you that your higher self is compelling you to have that experience. Whether it brings you pain or pleasure, that's something you have to deal with. But the thing is, you have to get past this experience because your higher self is compelling you to have it. And once you have it, the key is to learn and to move on from it,
Mm.
never
Yeah,
to repeat it again.
right.
No. Yes.
And that's real. And I
Wow.
know that's what
Jeez.
I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know what is stopping me, what is blocking me, and if I can get past that. Because all the trauma and all that, that's there for a reason. It's the lessons and everything.
Right.
Everything. But I don't know what it is that's holding me. You know,
And
it's
and
like
and
I'm
you
like
and,
there, I'm like right there, but I got this something is like nope, nope, like I can't snap that cord. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, and that should be a part of your that should be a part of your shadow work.
Right.
And when I
That definitely, yeah, I definitely, and I started doing that because I know I got to do the work. I said I got to do work. I got to work.
and for those who don't know, you know that shadow work is just work that you focus on your unseen self, on yourself that you know work that you do in private to get yourself together. And that goes back to what you said, Dave.
Mhm.
Having the strength to take that step forward because there's something there that you need to remove
Yes.
to allow you to walk down that path freely without resistance. And
Hmm.
you indirectly acknowledge that there is something there, so you're asking for strength and guidance to make sure you can take that step. And it's the same
Right.
thing that she's saying the same exact thing.
Right.
You're there, you just need that extra push and that extra strength, but at the same time you're acknowledging that there's something in the road.
Right.
Yeah.
There's something in the road.
Right.
Yeah.
There's always been something in the road, but I just have no. I just. I guess it comes. It boils down to not having the courage to remove that particular object in the road, so I can just forge the fuck ahead.
So
Right.
why do
You
you
Right.
think
know?
that is?
Huh?
Why do you think that is? Why do you think you don't have it?
Uh, Probably still dealing with occasional voices, telling me that's hard, you're not worthy of doing it, or it's always
Self
been a
doubt.
yeah, it's always been a battle. It's
Mm-hmm.
always been uh, a battle between good and evil, in a sense, and that you know the devil and the angel and all that stuff. So yeah, yeah,
So, but you know what's holding you back is your self doubt,
right.
right? I'm still trying to figure out what's holding me back. Or why am I know it's fear that's holding me back, but what is it that I'm afraid of? What happened to me that's making me so afraid to just fully
Yeah.
engulf and be who I'm supposed to be?
Yeah, I was gonna go down that road. Um we all have traumas, but sometimes the traumas are not apparent. Um Sometimes you have past life traumas things that are attached to you. This is why the shadow work is important. We mainly focus on traumas that we can readily identify in our own lives as we've incarnated in these bodies and have had our life experiences. Sometimes there are unseen traumas that have occurred, especially in your past life, that are hindering you in this life. It's just that deep. So sometimes when people have past life regression sessions, people are going to go back and try to heal certain things so you can move forward. That's just how deep rooted these things are. So sometimes it's not apparent that the trauma or the blockage is coming from something that you can readily identify to say, okay, hey, X, Y, and Z happened to me while I was growing up or whatever. And I can identify that may have an impact on why I can't move forward. That could be true. But if we cannot readily identify it, you have to go deeper.
Yeah.
And this is pretty much what Tasha is saying. There's some deeper stuff
Right.
that I want to uncover because I pretty much checked all the bases.
Right.
But there's something there. And it's unseen.
Yeah.
And shadow work, you know, like I said, it's a whole conglomerate of things that could be done when it comes to shadow work. Not just you working on yourself, but there's certain things that you can have done and blockages that you can have removed that could be attached, you know, to your family line, your bloodline, and your family tree and stuff like that. That's just how heavy it is, you know. So yeah, that's definitely you know, a real thing. Pablo Chalk said the fact that you're aware that you're holding yourself back is a start.
Right.
You know, something to focus on. Right. He also said you just have to act on it now so you can let things flow.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have to do the work on it. So, you know, he said he has the same issue and he has to work on it. So, you know, I can dig it. And the fact that we're entertaining the conversation is very important in, you know, unraveling all of that. So, but yeah, I got one last question before we wrap this show up, and we're gonna get into it. As we've gotten older, traveled this path and gathered all this knowledge and information and experiences, and we have families and all that type of stuff. You know, do you ever ponder on your own mortality? And if so, you know, spiritually, not physically, but spiritually, what are you doing to enrich that? If that's a thing? Well, it is a thing, and I'll explain later. But as you get older, do you ponder on your own mortality?
Yes.
Yeah, within recent times, because of recent losses.
Yeah.
It has definitely made me very more aware that, you know, any moment, any second, I don't know what I signed up for. I don't know if I signed up to be here till I'm 50, to you know what I mean, or just till tonight. I don't know what I signed up for. And when I say signed up, when I chose this life here, I don't know how long I signed up for. Right. So I think about it now because I want to make sure that, you know, I leave the tools. I'm pretty sure I did, for my kids to be able to be who they need to be in this world, and that spiritually that yeah, I'm more in tune. But see, my spiritual is the struggle right now, so I gotta get that situated because I'm still got that tether on me, you know. So yeah, so as of late, I have been thinking about it a lot in every aspect, and it's crazy that you brought that up. I guess there you go. This is a confirmation thing tonight, Dre. Damn. But I needed it, yeah. So I've been thinking about it a lot. Where I'm going with it, I don't know, but
Right. I would concur. I would say the same thing. I think about it more now. And it's weird because I've had these small epiphanies as of recent, and I wish we really had a like we really could push this show for like another hour, but we'll have to do a part two because I want to share some of the things that have been occurring with me far as the ascension is concerned, and we can get into this whole dimension and everything that's going on with our son and blah blah blah, a whole nother conversation, but it all plays a part on my mortality because as the veil, our ancestors talked about the veil between the physical world and the unseen world. And as we get closer to this process of ascension, the veil starts to thin. And as the veil starts to thin, we're having this more fluid relationship with the unseen and the seen. They're kind of merging, and we're having experiences that some can explain, some can't. Some seem weird, some seem normal, depending on where you at in your evolution.
Right.
But for me, I had an experience. I'm gonna touch on this a little bit as I just have to.
Mm.
I had an experience. I astrally traveled probably like a month ago. But this was like unlike any travel that I've ever had. In a nutshell, I was where I was, and I was there for at least 2 days.
Wow.
A whole nother situation, people, the whole shebang, because I don't want to get into all the details, but I was gone so long. Typically, when I'm astral traveling, I'm aware that I still have a body. During this particular travel, it was almost like being in another dimension, another universe, because
Wow.
my entire recollection of this life didn't exist.
Oh.
Wow.
And it was scary because when I got back, I realized that I was gone. And I know that sounds crazy, but I know I'm gone if I'm astral traveling. But this
Right.
time I was gone. Like I could have transitioned in my sleep. And on this side of reality, they just would have been dealing with a body. We got to have a funeral. People would have been crying. But I was somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
I was somewhere else in a whole nother reality,
Wow.
living. And I had no connection to this reality whatsoever. That's when I came back, I was like, oh shit, I was gone.
But how did that feel?
That was the craziest shit ever, Dave.
but
Because
did you have a sense of peace when you were in that astral field, when you were that in that transcendent mode? Did you have a sense of peace?
This is
Was
gonna
it like
sound weird again.
paradise?
Like, could you have stayed and
Well,
been?
put it this
Yes.
way. Put it this way. Have you guys seen Doctor Strange, the multiverse?
Yes.
I've heard of it.
And I was, get out my head, my dude.
Put it this way. I was existing in another timeline. Keep in mind, I can go into the story of what was going on there because I've met people. I was on a plane. I took a plane ride, the whole shit.
Wow.
This life that I'm living now did not exist to me. There was no recollection of it. Typically, when you astral travel, you know that your body is here.
Right.
Because it's connected by this, what they call the etheric cord. Kind of like when a baby's born, a baby has an umbilical cord that connects the physical baby to the physical mom. Well, in your astral travel, your astral body has what they call a silver or etheric cord that attaches to your physical body, and that cord is attached to your astral body. So as your astral body travels, that cord makes sure that the astral body can also come back to the physical body so you can wake up. Upon death, that cord is cut. When I went where I went, there was no recollection of astral traveling. There was no recollection of this life. There was no recollection of I needed to go back anywhere. I just existed somewhere else. I've never had an experience like that in my life. The only way I knew I was somewhere else is because when I came back, that's when I realized I was gone.
Wow.
And it was a little scary because, like I said, I could have transitioned and they just would have been dealing with my death or my transitioning in this reality. But I was somewhere else chilling.
Wow.
I've never, but this goes into
But that happens. But that I've heard of that happening. You know what I mean? Because that's what they say. We have these different planes, right? These different universes or whatever that we can dimension, not universe, maybe dimension. So I don't know what the right terminology is. You know what I mean? But there are these different levels, these different that we can go to. You know, and
so it was real. But the reason why I share this is because this is a part of that. I believe from my teachings and from the things that I've read, this is a part of the ascension process. These are some of the experiences that we're having that you can't readily explain, but you know they're occurring. But yeah, I was out of here, bro.
Wow.
Are you scared to do it again? You don't even know how you did it the first time.
I don't know how I did it the first time.
Wow.
And here's the thing. There was no fear because imagine this.
Going through it.
Imagine this. Imagine if when you transition and you close your eyes in this world, imagine when you close your eyes, you wake up somewhere else. Imagine this. That other world that you exist in, that you woke up in. Imagine when you go to sleep in that world, you wake up here.
Here, yeah.
Oh.
But I've heard of them.
So you're going from reality to reality just by closing and opening your eyes.
You don't know
so when you close your eyes in this life, okay, Dave, it's over. You know, we'll have a nice service. I say some words, blah, blah, blah. Soon as Dave takes his last breath and close his eyes, he wakes up somewhere else and like, damn, I was sleep dreaming that I was on a podcast with Dre and Tasha and all this other shit. And I had some kids and I lived in New York and blah, 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 blah. It was all a dream. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Wow.
What if we're just living a variation of our reality in this dimension as this is the dream?
Right.
Like a lot of my teachers would say, like, this is not real. This is just, you know.
This is actually a dream and we're somewhere else.
Yeah. And I think I had a glitch in that shit. I think, I don't know how. I really don't. All I know is when I came back, I realized that I was gone for a very long time. Yeah, I was gone. Not astral projecting.
No, you was gone.
I don't know how. I can't give you the I don't know. I just know I was gone. And I knew when I got there, I met some people, went to the mall, took a plane ride. It was a whole bunch of other shit going on. Yeah. Yeah. And when I came back, the scary part was my body. Like I was gone and Dre didn't exist to me anymore. So whatever could have happened to me on this side, like I said, I could have transitioned and they just would have been like, that's fucked up. Dre, you know, that nigga passed. Like,
yeah.
Meanwhile, the real me, my essence, I'm in a whole nother world living. Yeah.
Chilling.
And what if this is what this is all about?
But isn't that called reincarnation though? What you just described?
No.
No,
No.
Reincarnation. No.
because he's still alive.
Yeah.
He hasn't passed on and fully transitioned to come back into another.
So
Like
He's
a
you were
still,
you, right. You didn't transition to another living form. You were still you.
I
yeah,
was
he's still
still
him.
me, but
He's in a
it
different
wasn't
dimension,
it
probably.
wasn't it wasn't Dre. It was, in other words, the real you is the aspect of you that's always been there since you were a child.
All right. Okay.
That part of you that um
Underneath all the muck.
yeah, the real you, the
Yeah.
part of you that has never aged, it has never
Hmm.
gotten sick. It's the part of you that you can have a conversation with. It's the part of you
Right.
that you talk to, like that person. It don't put on clothes. The body puts on clothes, but there's a part of you
That's
that affirms things to your ego that says, Dave, your beard looks nice. Like, yeah,
Right.
that do look nice. Who is that?
That's me.
That's the real you.
Yeah. That's the shit I tell myself every day.
Right. Right.
Real talk.
right.
So
One of the
yeah.
things anyway.
Let me see. We got some what Pop will say in the chat. The crazy thing is that life is really fragile if you think about it. I'll just say this again. Everything begins in the mind. The fragility gets tested every day.
Yeah.
Right.
You want it, Pablo?
That's what happened to that kid in that movie Insidious, scary movie that deals with astral projection. I saw Insidious, and I love watching movies like that to see what their twist or their take is on this particular science. Here's the thing. Astral projection is like a well, I'm not gonna say astral projection. The unseen realm is like a radio station, and a radio station has many different dials on it, right? When
Right.
you go to the other side, this is why they tell you to always some people pray, some people have positive affirmations, some people have words of power, anything that has a high vibration to it, whether it be Buddha, Krishna, Jesus, whatever you want to attribute to what you're going to take with you when you have these spiritual experiences. These are called your instruments of power because they have a high vibration attached to them. When you go into the spiritual realm or the astral plane, you want to make sure that you don't tune into the low frequencies on the dial. You know what takes you to the low frequencies on the dial? Fear. The minute you get afraid or have fear, you're automatically zipped to the lower planes. Automatically. Not because you did anything wrong, but your vibration is a frequency. So fear is a vibration. So the minute you start being scared, you automatically get zipped down to the lower planes in the astral plane. That's where all the bullshit is. That's where they reside. How do you get out of these places? Change your vibration, change your frequency, change your fear, change your thought. And it automatically zips you out of those lower planes and takes you up to a higher plane. So when you talk about the movie Insidious, you got to look at the Hollywood aspect of it. Had real science in it, but at the same time, you got to look at what the little boy, what the family was dealing with on a very low frequency. And when you're dealing with a very low frequency and you're astral traveling, why wouldn't low frequency beings fuck with you?
Mm.
You're in
Yeah.
their house. You're in their house.
You're leaving yourself open for all that.
So the bottom line is people with a high vibration, people who are happy, people who have a and I wanted to share something because the last show we had, we talked about astral projection very, very briefly. I remember Kim talking about She talked about the witch on her back, riding the back and all that type of stuff. I remember that. And she said that she gave an experience where she was around an individual that she was working with who had a very low frequency. And then that energy kind of rubbed off on her. And she had that experience one night and it was kind of fucking with her. And she had to correct all of that. But she realized that being around a person with a low frequency, that energy can kind of smudge off and bring your frequency down. Funny thing is, after we had that show, I experienced that.
Come on, we had a few more minutes.
Wow.
I sure did. I was around someone who had a very low frequency, and when they left my space that night, and that's a whole discussion I may save for
Should come out
the next show, but there was a whole situation behind that, and I knew exactly
that's done anyway.
what it was. I knew exactly what it was. And the funny thing is, I keep orgone around my neck, right?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, when this situation was going on, I saw myself reaching for my orgone pendant to see if it was around my neck, and it wasn't. But I had a vision. I saw a vision of it falling, and I was trying to catch it, and it just kind of hit the tips of my fingers, and it fell. And then I realized it wasn't on my persons.
Wow.
But there's more to this whole experience and this story that I'm gonna share. If we do a part 3, because I gotta get Chico on here. I gotta get Kim. I gotta get everybody. But if we do a part 3, I'm gonna share that story in detail because it's a real thing. When you are around people who have a very low frequency, that does affect you.
Yeah.
That can make you sick. That can bring what you consider bad luck, but it's not really bad luck. It's just that when your vibration is low, why would good fortune find you?
Yeah.
Why?
Do you like what I do is I like cleanse myself. Like if I don't like sage myself, or I'll take I'll make a spiritual bath, and like especially like when I'm around a whole bunch of people, because when I get around a whole bunch of people, I get not anxiety. I don't want to call, because I know it's not anxiety. I know what it is. It's just a lot of energy coming to me, and I'm like, I get overwhelmed and stuff. So I don't like going to grocery stores. I don't like being around a whole bunch of people all the time. Sometimes, or even if I have little gatherings at my house, I keep cleansing, saging my house, and then after everybody leave, I sage my house. I have sage. I try to keep myself, and then I just think good thoughts and keep the white light, protected by the white light. You know what I mean? That's what I do to try to protect myself from that happening. Do you have like, I don't want to call it a ritual, but it might be a ritual.
That was one of my questions. One of my questions was what will be your daily spiritual ritual to kind of fortify your day, your lifestyle. That was one of my questions. I didn't get to it, but yeah, I have everything, just about everything you can imagine. So for it to happen to me, it wasn't that I didn't know what to do, because I got right on it. Right afterwards.
The fact that it happened.
Yeah, the fact that it happened, and I knew why it happened.
Right.
And I knew who was in my presence. I knew everything that they were dealing with. And the funny thing is, me and this individual had a conversation about them being inflicted spiritually and how I can help them with that. And I think whatever was attached to them, whatever was attached to them was like, oh, hell no. We gotta come with this now.
That's not because you were trying to help that person. So it was like, okay, I'm gonna fuck with you.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a big failure, but at the same time, it was just a testament to knowing that this happens. This happens. And like I said, I don't have anyone that comes in my personal space with a low frequency at all. It's a zero tolerance. That particular person is like family. So allowing them to come in wasn't thing that I kind of second guessed, but I understand the magnitude of what they're dealing with now. And I've been wanting to have a conversation with them about, things being attached in the whole shebang. But when I offered my help, It came for me.
Yeah, it was like because
Yeah.
they don't like that. They don't want you to help.
Right.
They don't
But
want you to
you know,
help.
but I had some shit for that. So neutralized it and have no problem since. And it is what
Yeah.
it is. Jumped on it quick.
Yeah.
Pablo Chalk, do you have any questions before we close out the show, brother? If so, throw them in the chat right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, you have to stay fortified. And like I
Yeah.
said, one of the easiest ways to stay fortified is your thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, just being positive.
Thoughts.
You know,
Yeah.
having a
Your
positive
faith.
outlook on things. Yeah, your
Yeah.
faith.
Your
Anything with
faith.
a high vibration.
Knowing, knowing what your mind can handle, and knowing what you want around you.
Right.
Right.
You know, everybody always says I need to have personal, I'm not personal, but good energy around me. That's facts. You know, the
Right.
older we get, the more we require good energy around us. We know
Right.
every day is not going to be sunny and happy, but
Right.
we need to have positive energy around us at all times, especially that we're on this path. You know, we're
Right.
on individual paths, but we are on a path to enlightenment.
Right.
Enlightenment.
Yeah.
Right.
You cannot have negative, toxic energy around you. So you just have to be in tune with the type of energy that's around you and knowing
Right.
what energy that you want around you, because that's going
Right.
to fortify you spiritually. It,
Right.
it,
Right.
you know, mentally, spiritually. You know, that's what I do. You know, I'm
Right.
always conscious of energy. You know,
You
Right.
now more than ever. Anyway, you
Right.
know,
have
so
to.
that's my thing.
You
I
have
block it
to
off
be
right away.
competitive. Right.
Yeah.
You have
And that's
You know,
that's a testament. That's a testament to a person's spiritual growth when you can readily identify things like that. Most people can't identify this stuff. They kind of go through life casually, being a slave to cause and effect.
to.
You know, and you know that's no slight to them. It's just that you are in a different classroom than them, a different grade than them. And I
yeah,
don't look down on anybody who's spiritually unevolved. I don't even talk down or because I understand the process. We all had to travel, we had to go through that. So I don't look down on it is what it is. I tell people now, the way the universe is working, people are being selected for deletion,
Yeah.
and if you are not in
yeah,
tune with the vibration of where the planet is going, then you get selected for deletion because you're not a part of like say for instance, Earth is an entity or it's alive and it has a vibration, right? And
yeah,
everybody on Earth has a vibration that's in tune with the Earth. This is what allows us to be on the Earth because we're in tune with the Earth. So when the
yes,
Earth decides that it wants to raise its vibrations and say, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give y'all Negroes some time to get y'all vibrations to match mine, but I'm gonna raise mine. And when I raise mine, it's gonna cause some earthquakes and the weather to be weird and all this other stuff. Gonna be hot, cold, and all this other stuff. We're gonna have viruses and so forth and so on. So when the Earth changes its vibration, because it's going to a higher frequency and everybody on it is biologically designed to match that frequency, then and it's going to give you some time to say, hey, I'm going to give y'all some time to catch up. Everybody is not going to be actively participating in raising their vibration to catch up to where the Earth is. So what's
that's
going to
right.
happen is it's going to start marking people for deletion because you're not matching my vibration. Not because it doesn't like you, but you're now non-conducive. That's all. You're
Right,
non-conducive. I need a vibration that's going to match mine because that's the only way you're going to be able to be here. It's called the Ascension Protocol. It is
right,
what it is. It's nothing personal. So I tell people, look, we all have a time that we're going to, exit this plane, right? But while you're here, you're tasked with a job to stay in tune with nature. It is what it is. And when you get out of tune with nature, then all types of shit starts to happen.
Yep.
And as it speeds up, you're going to have to pick up the pace.
Got a couple more minutes.
You got to pick up the pace, and you can't be in a situation where, I don't know if we talked about this on the last show, but like the situation with Lot and his wife in the Bible. You know, you get spiritual instructions and you follow those instructions to the T. And you can't be held back by people around you or your loved ones because they can cause your demise too. So you got to surround yourself with like-minded people moving in the same direction, because if you stop to help them in the midst of a crisis, they can cost you your life.
Yep.
On that note, it's been great.
Yes.
It's been great. Pablo Shock said it's a very good show. He enjoyed himself. Everybody's in the chat. We got some viewers that are watching. I appreciate everybody coming by. I hope we wasn't two-way left, two-way right.
No.
In the middle. But like I said, we'll probably have one more installment to the urban spiritual journey, because I love hearing people's stories about how they are interfacing spiritually on the day-to-day in different places across the world, as well as the United States where we are, and just growing up, you know, urban. You know, we're urban melanated individuals who you know, it's a format to that. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I like to thank my co-host, Miss Tasha, and my brother Dave, who came through and supported the platform. We had a full lineup, so we're missing
Thank you.
we're missing at least another 2 to 3 people. But we'll work that out, and we'll probably do another show and close it out on a trilogy. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. Y'all be safe, and y'all hold it down. Well, I'm gonna monitor this hurricane situation. Might have to throw you a life vest down there, Tasha. You never know.
Yeah, we about to be flowing. I'm about to flow back to Jersey, man. Damn.
You never know. But yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all stay safe and give thanks. Always give thanks. All right, we're gonna roll these credits. I'm out. Peace.
Okay.